Atlas. Teddy, normally I'd ask you how you're doing, but I don't even have to ask. I know. One of the worst stoppages I've ever seen in boxing. Tony Weeks jumps in, stops the Romero Barroso fight, and my God, I don't even have words. I just want to turn it over to you because the outrage all over the internet and Twitter was just, I've never seen anything like it. It's why I've got the picture of Tony Weeks up behind me with Badu Jack, who got that cut on his forehead, 25 stitches required to shut it. He let that fight go 5 rounds. That cut happened in the 7th. He went to the 12th. Tony Weeks isn't a joker. Tony Weeks been around a long time. To stop the fight the way he did, I said to you and Rob on text, like, if I robbed a bank with this guy and he was this bad at covering his tracks, I'd be pissed. How can there wasn't even an attempt to make it look, Teddy, so bad.
No. Let me correct you. And that's the problem with boxing. You wouldn't be pissed, you'd be in jail. Go ahead, continue. And that's it. That's it. That's the problem on his part. There's no accountability.
Yep.
That's the problem.
If you paid someone to fix that fight and that was the job they did, you'd never work with them again. That was the worst stoppage I've ever seen. I'd love to hear an explanation. He was actually landing the more impactful shots. Okay, he got buzzed and he got knocked down, but he was like, we've seen guys like, we'll talk about the Stephen Butler knockout in a minute, but that guy was like on Queer Street from the first knockdown, and Jack Reese gave him every chance. 3 knockdowns, he was like friggin' on spaghetti legs. Barroso never looked in trouble.
But that was dangerous. But that was dangerous. 100%. That fight, now you're jumping around. Now, Jack Reese, that's okay. But Jack Reese, listen, he's a friend of mine. I love him. And he's come a long way as a ref. I know when he started. And I've talked to him. But and he's a good person. Him and his partner. And the two of them, he's a judge, his partner. They've been, one's a former detective, and of course, Jack's a former fireman. And good people. But that fight that you're talking about with Butler,
I use that as an extreme example on the other side of letting it go a little too long, whereas Tony Weeks, what are you doing? This kid was a last-minute replacement. I think they picked him up like less than a week because the other kid who was supposed to be in there tested positive for a PED, clomiphene or something, and they get this kid last minute. They probably thought, the Rolly's team probably thought, oh, we got an opponent, let's go, let's get him in.
Not probably. Listen, let's get right to it. Let's be clearer. When you're with one of the 5 power brokers in the game, there's 5 of them. When you're with one of the 5 power brokers, you are privileged. And Rolly, or whatever you want to call it.
He even said that in a pre-fight interview. He said, I'm privileged.
You're privileged. And Romero's privileged. You get destroyed. You get destroyed by Tank Davis, a real good, complete fighter. You get destroyed by him. And then you get brought back for some cockamamie title or whatever. I don't even know. I can't even call it
on a main event on a major network. How's that a main event?
I don't know whatever. It's absurd, of course, but it's a world of absurdity in my sport, unfortunately. And he gets brought back against a 40-year-old guy who's been knocked out twice, that they think they're giving him a Christmas gift in May. That's what they think they're doing. That's the intention. Right. That's it. But it backfired on him. So plan B. Have the referees step in. Do I have proof of this? No, other than knowing the sport, the history of the sport, that, like my great mentor Costamato used to say, it's either incompetence or corruption, and nobody could be that incompetent. Time and time again. Nobody!
Teddy, if you want proof, just watch what happened. The favorite, the A side was landing punches, and they were like, oh, that's enough.
I'm going to jump off that. I'm a lawyer right now in court. My daughter's really the lawyer in my family. But I'm a lawyer right now in court. Does anybody out there, anyone in the jury, and whether you know it or not, you the fans of the jury, you're the jury. And damn it, you're not voting. You're not doing nothing. If you didn't like a politician, you would vote. You could vote here too. You don't like it after a while? Vote. Couple ways to vote. Turn off the TV. Don't watch the sport. I don't want you to really do that. Call up your congressman, your assemblyman, and say that these pathetic commissions that are there much of the time with taxpayer money, that you demand that they start to behave like commissions and take action against such stuff. That's a good start. Do something other than sit there and then we complain. If we are not part of solving the problem, we're part of the problem. Please. And so, as far as Tony Weeks, he's made mistakes. This ain't his first one. I've seen him call knockdowns when there was no knockdown. He's the only guy who saw it. And like you said, he allowed a horrific cut, to go on, but yet he stops this one. You know, how could you not think? How could the people out there not say that it was plan B, escape plan, that just in case things weren't going good, and they weren't going good, that they would pull the ripcord and they'd have their guys step in. Again, I have no tangible proof. The only proof I have is...
You have proof of seeing exactly what happened.
Proof is the proof in the eye. The proof is in the history of the sport. The proof is in how many times we've seen. The proof is in me understanding too much of how this sport works, of being at dinners in Europe, in the United States, where the big dinner looked like the Last Supper, Ken, with the best of everything, you know, where it was steaks and the best of Colby's steaks, whatever the hell they had, their lobsters, the best wines, you know, caviar. Would somebody like, I've never eaten caviar, would somebody like some caviar? And everything. And who's at this dinner? All of the judges and refs and inspectors and heads of the organization that are supposed to be administrating the fight, that are going to be judging the next day, refereeing the next day. As I said, administrating the fight the next day. And who do you think's picking up the bill? Who's the host? The promoter. Well, you don't see graft there. You don't see something wrong there? And then, yeah, I've sat there and I've heard some of the judges that look so pristine with their ironed shirt and so honorable. Yeah, honorable. And see them lean over to one of the promoter's top aides and say, excuse me, you know, I have my wife flying in this weekend. Do you think maybe I could upgrade my room to a suite? Yeah, we could we'll talk about that with that. Oh, excuse me, another one saying, I have my girlfriend is going to come. Could I get an extra plane ticket maybe? You know, I was, could I get yeah, let me talk to you. Let me talk to you about those things. Yeah, it's not an envelope of cash, stuffed cash underneath a table in a cigar smoke room, but it's graph. It's sending a message. You're telling these refs, you're telling these officials, you take care of me, I take care of you. You want to continue working? The promoters have too much power. There's no separation. There's no separation between church and state. There's between the people making money and the people that are supposed to be enforcing rules. There's no separation there where they can be elbow to elbow with the people who are going to administrate the rules the next night and influence them. Make it very clear that, you know what, you know who my guy is, right? They don't have to say it. They don't have to say it. And if you want to keep working, and guess what? If they don't do the right thing, they don't work. The promoters have that much sway where they can say, no, we don't want that guy. They're going to eliminate that guy. And guess what? The promoters are the ones that are putting the work out there. They're the ones that are putting the shows out there. So there's only so many places you can work if you're an official. And if you don't do the right thing by that guy, where are you going to go? You're not going to work. You're not going to work. And let me ask you something. What I just described to you, could you imagine this happening the night before a World Series baseball game where the New York Yankees are in the World Series, and I'm going to use the name Steinbrenner because it's a universal name almost, where the Steinbrenners are hosting a dinner, and at that dinner are all the umpires and officiating crew that are going to be there the next day at Yankee Stadium calling balls and strikes for the World Series. No, you couldn't see it. No, you couldn't see it. There's separation. There's a commission to make sure there's an oversight. Until there's an oversight, an independent oversight in my business, in boxing, that I put 50 freaking years into, and a lot of other people have too, and that these fighters bleed, and these fighters, they give everything. Until there is, or a national commission, this will never stop.